Welcome, Wissahickon Church family, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Wissahickon Worships. We have two announcements for you guys and one special surprise. First announcement being that we are still continuing to hold virtual small groups. There will be an image plugged in at the very end of the video that'll show you what days are available and what small groups you might want to get plugged into. Number two, join us on Sunday mornings for United Church Worship. The link will be posted on our Facebook page. And last but not least, Pastor Ray Garcia, the senior pastor at our planting church, Roxborough Church, we bring in the word today, right after worship. So sit back, relax, and prepare to worship the Lord.
You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you. I worship you. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. 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 Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Waymaker, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper.
What a joy it is to have a chance to be here with you and to follow up that great time of worship. What a great song. What a treat to see Pastor Charlie joining in that song of worship. But during this moment, I want to take a minute and just really talk to us about something that's been heavy on all of our hearts, and especially on Pastor Charlie's heart as he reached out and asked me to come and to share a little bit today. Yesterday, Sunday, which is Sunday for us, yesterday we had a chance to participate in a worship service around the city. And there were a couple of hundred people gathered on a lawn at New Covenant Church, and it was a beautiful scene. And at the end of the worship service, we ordered a pizza, and we were sitting at a picnic table and got a chance to talk with my family. For those who don't know, I've got 4 kids. My oldest is 10, and my youngest is 4. And we asked each one of the kids at our table to kind of share what they remembered from the service, or what stuck out to them, what was meaningful. And, varying ages, varying degrees of response. But one of the responses from one of my kids was, it seemed really special to see so many people who were so different, and yet we're all in one place doing the same thing. I couldn't echo it any better than that. The other day I was sitting in my office, and I heard a scream. And it was one of those screams that gets you jumping up out of your chair. And I ran out of my office, and I ran out to my backyard, and I saw her. It was my daughter, my 6-year-old daughter. She was laying on the ground, and she was screaming, and she was crying out for mommy or daddy or anybody who would have come to help. She was in pain. She had fallen off the trampoline. She had broken her arm. And she was kind of just laying there, like begging someone to be a rescue for her in that moment. And I did what every good father would do, and I scooped her up, and we got her in the car, and we got her off to the hospital, and within hours she was being cared for, and within days and then weeks, now she's out of the cast and she's running around again. But what I didn't do in that moment is look at my daughter who was in a lot of pain and say, you know what, I have other things I need to pay attention to right now. I looked at my daughter and said, I need to pay attention to you in this moment right now. And church, I want to encourage us all, but also want to challenge us all. You know, Paul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 12 that we're all one body. And he talks about the body being very unique in its expressions. And he compares, you know, the functions of the body from fingers to toes to each one of us having a role and a responsibility, but corporately being one body. I'm going to read you that real quick. It's in 1 Corinthians chapter 12 if you want to check this out later. And this is what he says. He says, just as a body, though one, has many parts, but all of its many parts form one body, so it is with us in Christ. For we were all baptized by one Spirit, so as to form one body, whether Jew or Gentile, slave or free, and we were all given the one Spirit to drink. Even so, the body is not made up of one part, but of many parts. Now, if the foot should say, because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason stop being part of the body. And if the ear was to say, because I'm not an eye, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason stop being part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? And if the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? But in fact, God has placed the parts in the body, every one of them, just as he wanted them to be. I want to say that part again. But in fact, God has placed the parts in the body, every one of them, just as he wanted them to be. If they were all one part, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, but one body. Church, the thing I want to really encourage us today is to hone in on what that part that I read twice. That Christ has specifically, God has specifically placed each part in the body in the exact function and role and purpose as God himself has intended it to be. When some part of the body hurts, it's not just that part of the body that hurts. It's the whole body that hurts. And right now, church, we should all be in pain. Right now, church, we should all be crying out for response. Right now, church, we should all be standing and marching for justice. Right now, church, black and white, mixed, all should be coming together to say, when a part of our body is hurt, we as a body are hurt. But let me also turn this page and say, when a part of our body is healing, we as a body are healing. And church, I'm pointing to a day in which Christ indeed will redeem the work of the body. When Christ indeed will see through the work that you and I have continually put effort in. Church, that day is coming. That you and I will once again see the church in the beautiful function and purpose that God himself intended it to be. And from now till then, let's not grow weary of doing what is right. God bless you, church.
Keep light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. 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 That is who the darkness.